Right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to our Expert Talk series. Today is a really nice and warm Saturday, and we are here with our next speaker, Mrs. Vivin Romavati, and it gives me immense pleasure to share a little bit about Jammu and Kashmir Policy Institute and this initiative before we begin. So Jammu and Kashmir Policy Institute, as you know, is a youth-led think tank where we delve deep into understanding how policy can influence and shape the way forward for the Sustainable Development Goals. And while we learn from multiple stakeholders, we decided to bring our experts to the table for one-on-one dialogues to learn more about each goal and the different dimensions to it. So Expert Talk series is basically our effort to learn every week from experts from all around the world who are doing pioneering and groundbreaking work to implement the Sustainable Development Goals in all its different dimensions and to learn more about their challenges and the way forward. We expect to take in a lot of the inputs and recommendations and compile them into reports that we would again take forward to conduct more research on in the long run. So thank you all for joining us. And without further ado, I would like to introduce Mrs. Vivin. Vivin is a board member of the Forum for Interreligious Harmony in Yogyakarta and the former vice director of Institute of South Asian Islam, Sunan Kalijaga State Islamic University. At ISAI, she works to develop the research and to study and to promote the tolerant and moderate Islam in Southeast Asia. She's been working in the field of interreligious dialogue for over 15 years. At Institute for Interfaith Dialogue in Indonesia, a pioneer in interfaith dialogue in Indonesia, she works as a researcher, trainer, editor, program officer, executive secretary, and senior staff member. She also teaches multicultural education at Dar es Salaam Islamic College in the town of Kaimis. I hope I pronounced that right, West Java. She also happens to be a CAICEED fellow, my senior from the CAICEED International Fellowship Program. And she wears many, many more hats, and it is going to take us all day to go through her entire bio. But most of her work has a lot to do with bringing interfaith dialogue and peace-building tools to shape and inform the lives of women and to also involve them into religion and peace-building. So who better to bring to our forum than Vivin to talk about gender equality and religion. Having said that, I would pass on the mantle to my colleague, Mr. Akil Rashid, who will be the facilitator for the evening. And the floor is all yours. Over to you, Akil.
Hello and warm welcome to the Expert Talk series. Thank you, Sohani, for introducing Mrs. Vivin Romavati. I welcome you, Mrs. Vivin, on the second edition of the Expert Talk series and the second session of gender equality and religion. You have worked hard and done so much, but given the amount of time, the time that we have been allotted for this session, I think that it's not possible to highlight the complete list of your achievements, but I'm going to try to ask the most important and relevant questions regarding your expertise and experience to scale up our understanding of gender equality and religion. Let's begin with your professional career itself. You are senior research associate at Institute of Southeast Asian Islam, co-founder Sri Kandi Lintas Iman, and in-country director Taproot Gap Year. Please take us through your progress to these roles. Sorry, you are not audible.
Vivin, can you please kindly check your connection a little bit and the microphone because we can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, thank you. I think because here is 20:46 p.m. So the internet connection is not really good. So do you mind if I turn off my video? Then the voice is will be better. Okay ya. Alright, thank you. So yeah, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Sohini and friends at JK Policy Institute for inviting me to share my experience here today, and also Mr. Akil as moderator. Yeah, I would like to share a little bit about my work. So at Institute for Interfaith, at Institute of Southeast Asian Islam. This is the study center at Sunan Kalijaga State Islamic University in Yogyakarta here in Indonesia. Yeah, I'm a former vice director in this institute, so I just resigned, replaced by my friend the end of last year. So at this institute, actually, we try to study, to develop, and to promote tolerant and moderate Islam in Indonesia and also beyond, particularly in Southeast Asia. Yeah, we try to do research on how actually Islam in Southeast Asia is an Islam moderate, and in this institute also we develop intra-Muslim dialogue. Yeah, because beside interfaith dialogue, we also need to develop intra-Muslim dialogue, as Indonesia is the majority of the population is Islam, Muslim. And then in interfaith women community called Sri Kandi Lintas Iman, I'm one of the founder of this community. The community founded in 2015 as part of my initiative at KAISID. As Sohini mentioned, I was one of the fellows of KAISID in 2015. So currently, this community become bigger. We have more than 250 members, consists of Muslim, Christian, Catholic, Hindu, Buddhist, Confucianism, and also local beliefs. Yeah, because in Indonesia we have hundreds of local beliefs, or we call local religion. So we involve them in our community. My friend and I try to open the space for women to engage, to meet each other, and to do something that responds to the issues of women and children particularly. Yeah, because in Indonesia, for example, and as I believe also in other countries, that if we talk about interfaith dialogue, mostly a men who involve much in the dialogue, especially a formal dialogue. But women actually have a very important role in disseminating tolerance and peace values in the society. And for the Taproot Gap Year, this is a small institution based in Philadelphia, America. I'm the in-country director for this institute, for this organization. So this organization tried to send to have to have what we call program by sending young male and female who just finished their senior high school before they enter to university, to have like, let's say, one semester live in Indonesia, to learn about the pluralism in Indonesia and to learn about particularly about Islam and culture in my country. But since we, since the pandemic COVID-19, then the student couldn't come. So I hope if the situation better, perhaps they can come here and stay here for one semester and learn about many things, especially about inter-religious issues. That's what I can say, Mr. Akil.
It's really nice to know that somebody is thinking so big about women. And yes, I agree with you when you say that the role of women in the women are play a huge role in stabilizing the society, in ensuring a stabilized society. So let's move to other questions about your projects. uh, Please tell us about the KaiSeed project, developing an inter-religious dialogue and cooperation among women in Yogyakarta. What are the challenges for initiating inter-religious dialogues and achieving cooperation among women? What have been the successes so far? And what steps, large and small, need to be taken to ensure that such models are implemented on a large scale?
All right. Thank you so much. Okay, for the project, my project entitled Developing an Interreligious Dialogue and Cooperation Among Women in Yogyakarta, as I mentioned earlier, this project conducted in 2015, and starting with the small, with the 3 days workshop involving more than 24 women, young women from at least 6 religions in Indonesia: Islam, Christian, Catholic, Buddhist, Hindus, and Confucianism. So in 3 days, we meet, we talk each other, we learn each other, even we try to dismantle our prejudices, especially religious and ethnic prejudices, because in Indonesia, as we are a very pluralistic society. And then we are a big country with so many islands, even more than 17,000 islands in Indonesia. So we are very pluralistic. So we should learn, we should know each other. So I try to let's say to invite them. Let's talk about problem that we are facing in terms of religious and social and cultural issues in our country. Then from that workshop, then we continue to meet regularly and try to promote tolerance and peace in the society. Even we bring not only the member but also student and the community of our members to visit different religious house of worship. For example, we visited mosque, we visited pura, we call, yeah, and then vihara, and then kelenteng for Confucianism, and church, of course, and also Islamic boarding school. We try to learn from the first hand about what is Islam, what is Christian, etc. So the big challenge basically is it was not easy to invite them in the first place, because the interfaith issue in my country, even though we are facing a lot of problems in terms of religious radicalism and etc. But for women, perhaps this is not the priority issue. The priority issue is related to economy and etc. So when I tried to invite them from different religious community, it wasn't easy, and it was hard to find young women who willing to attend my workshop. But since I was part of the Forum for Religious Harmony, as mentioned by Sohini, this is in this forum consists of religious leaders from different religion. So I try to using the another approach to ask these religious leaders to send the representative of their community, a female, yeah. So then finally I got it, and then from 2015 until now, we try to develop so many programs, including what we call regular discussion about many issues, not only related to interfaith, interreligious issues, but also issues about gender equality, about women issues, and of course children issues. So we develop also what we call the trainings. Yeah, we do trainings, and then workshop, and then seminars, and also we do what we call interfaith pilgrimage. Yeah, what it means that we visited many religious house of worship in one place, and we try to like, but it's outside of my area. So we went to another region together by bus. Then we try to visit many different religious communities, and we did dialogue with them to learn the dynamic of interfaith relation within society. And then in this community, we also develop what we call the program related to what we call advocacy. Yeah, advocacy. We did so many advocacy, but of course not by ourselves. But we work together. We join with our networks here in the local area, but also nationally. For example, if because until now, within 5 to 6 years, there are many churches who attacked by Muslim hardliner. Yeah, sadly, but this is the fact. So we try to also do advocacy to our government, and also to do what we call trauma healing, yeah, especially for women and children, because in one case, for example, the one Muslim attack with the sword, yeah, to the church, Catholic church, while they are praying in on Sunday. So it was very sad. So after that, we try to what we call to help to about the trauma healing. And then another also we do promoting a campaign through our social media. If you're willing to see my social media, the social media we have Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, but of course mostly in Indonesian. Yeah, but we also have our website, but our website is not really updated. And then what steps need to be taken? Yeah. Right now, so since 2015 until 2020, I was because I was the one who initiated this community. I was the coordinator of, or the head of this community until February 2020. Then after that, another founder become the coordinator for this community. Is the priest, yeah, Christian priest. And now so within 5 to 6 years, I try to what we call to develop our cadre, yeah, cadre, yeah. So right now, even though our community is in local, yeah, I mean the area is in local, but basically the member now is actually in the national level, because Yogyakarta is education city. So students come from all over the country, and 60% of our members are students in university, either undergrad or graduate students. Some of them already come back to their respective area, I mean, to their homeland. But we try to connect them to our network in their area. So before I go back, usually I connect them, our member, to have connection with interfaith activists in their area, and some of them now become lecturer, become activists, and some of them also try to develop interfaith community among women in their respective area. So even though some of them ask that Sri Kandi Lintas Iman like they become branch of our community, I always tell them that we don't want to open the branch, but you can build by your own and in your own context, because different area they have a different context, different dynamic, different problem, different dynamic, yeah, in terms of interfaith or interreligious and intercultural issues. I think that's what I can say. And in the future, I hope that this kind of interfaith women community can exist not only in Yogyakarta but all over the country, so that we can become bigger and bigger. And right now, since last year, almost 1 year, we have so many programs during the pandemic, including the media literacy for women, and the participants are 60 female from Papua to Aceh, so from all over the country, because all our program are online, yeah, the using online platform because of the pandemic. So now the member is even not only bigger but more variety. I mean, more plural. I mean, before, for example, mostly our community are come from, for example, Java Island, but now our member from east part of Indonesia, west part of Indonesia, and it's I hope it's stronger, and they are very active in social media, promoting gender equality and interfaith dialogue.
Thank you so much. Thank you for underlining the importance of interreligious dialogue in a pluralistic society, and also telling us about gaining first-hand experiences and interfaith pilgrimage, a very interesting concept. So I have so many questions to ask you tonight, but we have the time we have as I already told you, that the time we have been allotted is it's very small. So moving to another other question, you have taken up this project, strengthening the interfaith women's solidarity movement to overcome the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, I would like to know what did you achieve by taking such an initiative?
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, for this project, also I got a small grant. We call micro grant from KAISID. Yeah. So this project based on our internal survey. So we conducted an online survey in early April to 2020, and the result is that 70% of our member facing psychological problem or mental health problem. So that is why I try to develop program focus on how to support, how to strengthen our mental health, especially among women. I think all of you are aware that during the pandemic, all people, not only women, but male, children, young adult, facing not only economic problem, social problem related to the social distances and so on, but also the mental health issues. Yeah, and for example, some of them like they have disorder, sleep disorder or anxiety, and even some of them cry without reason, yeah, because of the stressful situation. So that is why through this project we develop what we call mental health support through online platform. So we conducted like every 2 weeks a meeting online, yeah, to share what we are feeling, what are we facing about mental health problems. So and every one of us can share the same problem and share how to deal with this problem. So we try to support each other listen each other, and and at the end of the program, based on our evaluation, most of the member of our what we call our program on mental health, uh, you know, get benefit from our project. Not only what we call, not only a forum to strengthen or to help mental health issues, but also we did serial seminars on more people can reach our program. So we talk about mental health issues and how to deal with it, and then also spiritual resilience. Yeah, because here in Indonesia, for example, when we face the pandemic, some people start to asking where about their religion, about their God. Where is God in this situation? Why God sent us this pandemic, something like that. And then we try to ensure that a religion actually becomes sorts of what we call of healing and etc. We also made serial videos and what we call infograph, Instagram, and etc. So this part of socialization or disseminating the importance of mental health issues. And one thing why we did this project, because very rare people who concern in these issues. During the pandemic, for example, our government and most people concern on the economic problem, concern on social problem. They try to help with sending food and etc. But about the mental health problem, it is very rare people to what we call to try to address, to help especially women, in terms of mental health. And in this program, not only our member, but I think people also get benefit, at least because in one session, for example, in one seminar, there are 3 or 2 participants who share their experience, not only about mental health because of the situation, but since the pandemic, the what you call the violence against women also increased. I believe not only Indonesia, but in other countries, the issue of domestic violence increased during the pandemic. So we try also to help them, not only related to mental health because of the stressful, but because of the how to manage and how to deal with the domestic violence. Thank you.
Yeah, the mental health was the first casualty during the pandemic, and the authorities, the governments, they took some time to understand it. But I can see during the second wave now, during the second wave of COVID-19, the authorities have already started some initiatives. They have taken up some initiatives to address the mental health issues. And yeah, it's really interesting to know that you try to address the mental health issues by using spiritual methods, and also addressing some pressing issues during the pandemic like domestic violence. So uh, as a
Yeah.
PhD student of the interfaith study and having interest in women, interfaith dialogue and peace building, what do you intend to do about the issues that go against the very essence of your research area?
Okay. Yeah. The research are basically about how women's role in interfaith dialogue in Indonesia. I try to study focus on Forum for Interreligious Harmony. I'm part of this organization, but that is why I understand that in this organization, there is a big gap between female and male who involved in this organization. as I mentioned earlier, that women, they have very important and very crucial role in disseminating tolerant and peace values within in society. But when we talk about interfaith dialogue, when we talk about how government make a decision, women usually are what they call underrepresented, underrepresented. So I tried to do this research, and my research actually already published in the journal, international journal called the Muslim World. Yeah, this based in Harvard Seminary in US. If you would like to read, I can share my my article in this journal about my research. So this research basically a part of the what they call policy research. Yeah. So I try I let the government know that I do this research, and then I want to not only develop the increasing the awareness of the importance of women in interfaith dialogue, but also formally, I would like to propose to our government to give space, yeah, through their what we call a decree or a regulation, to make sure that at least 30% of female should be part of this organization. So this organization, as I mentioned, is Forum for Interreligious Harmony. So this is actually a very big organization. So we have 34 provinces. So every provinces already have this organization, and we have 500, more than 500 regency, or we call a district, yeah, district kind of district, yeah, all over the country. So every district they have this one organization. The total member more than 1,900, because every province the members should be around 21, and every district the member of this institution around 17 from different religion, mostly men. According to my research, the female members of this Forum for Interreligious Harmony is only 8%. 8% out of 100%. So you can imagine how many, very rare. So even a lot of this organization, there is no women at all. So this very sad. So I think that's what I can say about my research.
Yeah, thank you so much. As we have been I have been hearing a lot, and everybody who are right now watching us on Facebook and other social media networks, so they might have heard about tolerant and moderate Islam, and I have read it in your bio also that you are promoting tolerant and moderate Islam. Could you please expand on that?
All right, thank you. So yeah, Muslim Indonesia mostly actually, let's say, considered as a moderate Muslim. Yeah, moderate Muslim means that Muslim with the open-minded. Yeah, the perspective toward others is open. Yeah, so that is why in my country the government now the decision about we call moderation, moderasi beragama, religious moderation. Yeah, so religious moderation become one of the key issues addressing by our government formally. Yeah, why? Because in the past 10 years, the radicalism, the religious radicalism increasing in my country. And as you are aware, 2 months ago, we it was very sad that, there was one suicide bombing in South Sulawesi. Yeah, husband and wife, even they just married, and then the wife is pregnant 4 months or 5 months. So they attack, not they ride motorcycle to the church, Catholic church in South Sulawesi, and then they bomb, and then both of them of course died. But I'm very sad because since 2000, at least 2017, the 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 suicide bomber not only male but also female. Yeah, and then 4 days after the case in South Sulawesi, when suicide bomber female, yeah, uh, uh, visited the center of our police in Jakarta. So this is the top of the police office, yeah, in my country. And then she came there and tried to attack the police, and then the police shoot her until died. So this is very sad because in terms of um, radicalism and terrorism, now female not only behind, not only what they call involved in the domestic domestic matters of this terror attack. So that is why the moderation, religious moderation, is very important in shaping our perspective toward other religion. Yeah, because we in Islam, for example, we have the concept of tasamuh. Tasamuh means tolerance, tawazun means moderate. Yeah, so we have to have the perspective in the middle. Yeah, not really right extreme, but not left extreme. So this is what I mean by moderate and tolerant Islam. So beside that, moderate Islam and tolerant Islam is actually very close to the culture. Yeah, in Islam in Indonesia is different with Islam in Arab. Islam in Indonesia is different with Islam in Europe and in America, because basically the values of Islam can be adapted to the local culture. So in terms of moderation and tolerance, Islam means also we have to adapt it with the local culture. Indonesia is very not only diverse, but Indonesia has a long history about the religion. For example, in the 12th century, mostly people in Indonesia are Buddhist, and then colonized by Dutch, yeah, and then Christian developed here in the country, and then in 15th century, Islam came to our country with the using Sufi, yeah, Sufi movement. So Islam come to our country with the peace, yeah, with the peace, not with the what they call war. So the characteristic of Islam in Indonesia is actually very accommodated with the culture. So as far as the culture is not against the Islamic values, so we can dialogue, we can adapt it, this kind of culture. So that's what I mean by moderate and tolerant Islam.
So thank you. What I get from what you shared about moderate and tolerant Islam is that the two concepts pertains to the cultural connotations, and I agree. Yes, I just would like to add here that how people perceive and practice Islam varies from country to country, and uh, since we are long on questions but short on time, let me try to get as many as answered as we could. So, this next question is the UN has drafted Sustainable Development Goals, Goal 5, for addressing gender equality. But without an agreed upon definition of the term, the discussion on the subject, the domestic conventions against gender are both incomplete and ungratified. What could be done to assist the countries to do more to address gender related issues?
Thank you for the question. I think related to the let's say the definition and the understanding of gender equality, I think it is impossible for us to make it like you need one definition, because every definition whatever, not only gender equality, even definition of religion itself, the equality itself, it's various, yeah, various. So I don't want to, let's say that we have to have let's say uniform in the understanding of gender equality, but at least what we should understand is about the values, yeah, the values itself. For example, the gender equality, the values not only equality but also what they call justice and anti-violence, and then and etc. So the most important is not about the definition, but about the values that we want to bring in gender equality movement. So for me, it is need for countries, and my country already actually ratify this. I mean, not ratify the UN UN security, what do you call? What do you call UN security number 1325 about the importance to involve women in peace building, in conflict resolution. Yeah, I forgot what is the name, the but so my country already ratified this UN what we call so ini not the rule but UN, what we call oh, I forgot. So yeah, so in this case, yeah,
Please continue. Please continue.
yeah, okay. So yeah, so I think for this question, I just want to emphasize that for all every country, SDGs, not only SDGs number 5, but I think SDGs number other numbers. But what we should done in gender equality is actually how this perspective not only what we call become the regulation in the countries. For example, in my country, we have now gender mainstreaming since 2000. Yeah, gender mainstreaming. So all state institutions, state bodies should using this perspective in their program. Yeah, gender mainstreaming. But again, in implementation, it's not always easy. Yeah, because when we talk about implementation,
Your video has stopped, Miss.
I think there's a connection issue, probably.
Yeah, there's some connection issue.
Vivin, can you hear us? Let me text her.
I'm sorry.
She's back.
Oh,
Sorry, my connection. So, I mean, should I repeat? But what I want to emphasize in to answer the question is the most important of gender equality is the values, yeah, the values that need to for us to what we call struggle on, yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay, thank you. What I would remember whenever I come across this term gender equality, whenever will get to do something about gender equality, I will always remember that definition is not important, as you said, but upholding the values of gender equality is more important. Uh, another, I have.
Yeah.
Let me ask you some another question. Many non-Muslims believe that Muslim men suppress women and do not respect their rights at many levels. How would you react to that?
Yeah, thank you. The answer is not easy. Yeah, because if we talk about some phenomenon in the world about uh, women treated by men in the Muslim world, yeah, I can understand if there is understanding that Muslim men suppress women, but we can understand in terms of in terms of media also. Yeah, I think a media play an important role in shaping this understanding. Yeah. In fact, if we learn deeply in Islamic teaching from the Quran and Hadith, we can find that substantially Islam actually uh, what we call put women and men in the what we call in the equal role, and but we also need to be aware that if we see the story of Islam in Arab in the 6th century, uh, when our Prophet Muhammad tried to develop and to spread Islam, uh, at, at his era, women at that time become like what we call, there is no our prophet era of women, men can marry women without limitation. Yeah, so it means that women become something like not as a human. Yeah, and also as we are aware that before our prophet what come to the world or become not before become prophet, who deliver the baby girl, so they will the society will bury them bury the baby. So it means that female, there is no like it's very what we call not only discriminated, but of women like uh, similar to the what we call, it's not, so women is not like human, is not human. And also for example, then Islam, when Islam come, uh, um, prophet, Allah, our God, said in the Quran that only four one man can marry. So in that time, in prophet era, this is very revolutionary. Yeah, because before that, before Islamic where Islam come, so as I mentioned, so men can marry how many women as they want, 100, 200. But when Islam comes, so limited by 4. So, but the spirit of Islamic teaching is actually monogamy, because, for example, in the Quran said, if you cannot do just please only marry to one woman, something like this. So what we should follow now is not about for female, but about the spirit of this teaching is actually monogamy. So something like that. So this kind of understanding need to be spread, need to people around the world need to know that the spirit of Islam is actually monogamy. Yeah. So the polygamy, for polygamy is actually related to the history, related to the what we call in Islam as asbabun nuzul, ya. The asbabun nuzul means the context, the situation when this verse come and revealed through our prophet. So I believe if we as people and also as scholar can develop this understanding and spread this understanding to the world, so I think the what you call perspective or the will change, yeah. And I hope and I think right now more and more let's say people aware about this kind of understanding about how actually Islam put the promoting the equality between men and women. Thank you.
I'm afraid that we are running short on time, and we have this session was supposed to start like on time, but it didn't because we had to perform the salah, and we were fasting, so the iftar was at 7:15, so we had to start a bit late. So, and now I want to thank you for sharing your rich repertoire of experiences in field of religion and peace building. And now I would like Miss Sohani Jana to present the vote of thanks. Over to you, Sohani.
Thank you so much, Akhil, and thank you so much, Vivin, for agreeing to be here with us today, for sharing your wisdom and insights. And thank you, everyone who's joined, despite the fact that it's the month of Ramadan and it is, I know, quite taxing to have something lined up when you're fasting. So thank you to everyone from the team, everyone who joined us today. Thank you, Vivin. And we hope to keep this conversation going. Unfortunately, we don't have time to take questions from the audience today, but we will not leave any questions unanswered. So we will be curating them and sending them to Vivin via email. And we hope that we get many more opportunities in the future to continue with the conversation, which definitely did not, this is not the end, this is just a pause till next time. So have a good evening, everyone. Good night to everyone else. And we'll see you again next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sohini. Yeah, thank you all for listening. And then, yeah,